Ninth death, ladies and gentlemen, of the cheetahs under Project Cheetah in Kuno, which has now sent alarm bells ringing. Is it time to rethink the Project Cheetah is the question that we are asking. I just want to very quickly give you a timeline of what all has happened since the time 20 cheetahs were moved from Namibia and South Africa in this relocation program. Now, on August 2nd, Cheetah Dhatri dies. Post-mortem report is being conducted. That's the latest one. Now, before that, on July 14th, Cheetah Suraj had also died due to infection from a radio collar. July 11th, Cheetah Tejas died due to traumatic shock. Then you go back to May 25th. 3 cheetah cubs out of the 4 died due to dehydration and extreme weather. On May 9th, Cheetah Daksha died of mating injuries. On April 23rd, another cheetah, Cheetah Uday, died of cardiac arrest, and it all started on March 27 when Cheetah Sasha died of kidney complications. Is it time to rethink the entire project? Remember, the Supreme Court had also made some very, very telling remarks as far as the project is concerned. I'm being joined at this moment by Mr. R. Srinivasa Murthy, retired Indian Forest Service officer, former Chief Conservator of Forests and Field Director, Panna Tiger Reserve, Madhya Pradesh. We are also being joined by Dr. Arjun Gopala Swamy, founder and Chief Scientist of the Global Wildlife and Statistical Ecologist as well. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I want to start by asking you, Mr. Murthy, there have been a lot of questions that the Supreme Court, which is monitoring this situation, has also asked. One question that keeps on repeatedly coming in the forefront is whether this radio collar, which should have been possibly leather, which is at this moment plastic and other material, that should be done away. Why do you think this is an alarming rate at which these cheetahs are dying in Kuno?
So, thank you very much. Exactly what is happening at Kuno, I am not exactly aware. That's one thing, because I am not part of the Project Cheetah team. But I would like to give certain inputs based on my experience. Yes, certainly the radio collars create certain problems in Indian conditions. But here comes how good we are in monitoring it. That's the most important issue. When it comes to monitoring based on radio telemetry, that's the most important issue. In radio telemetry monitoring, again, you see, the general practice till the Panna happened, because I was in charge of Panna for reintroduction tigers there. And then, till then, it was mostly an academic radio telemetry monitoring that was happening in the country. Outside the country, I'm not exactly aware, but mostly it was the scientists who were doing. But when we started the tigers, monitoring the tigers in Panna, then through the process of, what should I say, hit and try on the basis, then we could really understand a managerial monitoring is very more important. Because for a scientist, only taking 3, what should I say, spots in a week is more than sufficient to arrive at a conclusion. But for me as a manager, I have to monitor my tigers 24/7 into 365. That's most important. If something happening with the animal, I am immediately able to know the next day. Immediately also we will be able to know, because there is a programming into it. Once there are once the animal is at one place, then there will be a certain amount of programming that is done in the radio collar. That need to be assessed. Then if there is a mortality, then within 6 hours, again, the radio collar will give you mortality signals.
Mr. Gopala Swamy, I want to understand from you, as the Supreme Court said, that is it being now made a prestige issue? A lot of experts have said that possibly the tigers should be relocated to other, national parks and other reserves as well. Possibly Rajasthan will suit them better in those conditions. How do you see this situation, sir? And is there, some sort of from the government side or from the people, those who are taking care of the project at this moment, a very high-handed approach that we will only follow this?
First, thank you for having me, Ankit. I think we should first recognize that the project has barely begun. This is a rewilding project, right? Which means you're going to let all these cheetahs now roam in the wild. And that process has barely begun. We just spent about 2 months, which was also very closely monitored. When animals got into conflict, they were stopped, and when animals dispersed away, they were brought back in. So it is still being very interventionist, if I may use the word. So the project has barely begun. These losses are really nothing to do with this argument of whether we got to shift it to another place or not, because that's a completely different issue. This issue is still at a very early stage. 6 out of the 8 deaths have occurred within the enclosures where the cheetahs are being monitored, and we have still not gone past the veterinary stages at the moment. So that's where we are. So,
one letter that was written by the global experts, those who are part of this panel, which is looking at this project, they said that possibly their involvement needs to be increased as far as this entire project is concerned. Is there any scope, Mr. Gopalaswamy, for a rethink or re-strategize as far as this project is concerned, or is it too early at this moment?
No, I think we should first see the larger issues to how this project has come about. And I have been one of the critiques, along with many other scientists, on the action plan itself. So I think there's a fundamental issue. We are getting a little lost right now with these individual deaths happening in enclosures, some unknown reasons for the moment, the last 3 deaths, which is attributed to radio collars and the sepsis and all that. These were what we would classify as unforeseen.
Okay.
But the foreseen part of it itself is a huge problem, because Kuno is extremely small a place to host a wild population of cheetahs, because any population, you take the best, most productive habitats in the world where I have personally worked on cheetahs and brought out some publications, cheetahs don't occur at more than 1 per 100 square kilometers. Now we have 20 out here. So even if we go past all these stages, they've unfortunately had a lot of deaths.
Okay.
It is still a hugely difficult task for it to succeed.
All right, gentlemen, I'm extremely sorry. I have completely run out of time on this, but this discussion needs to continue so that at least we can ensure that the best possible route can be followed as far as this project is concerned. Thank you so much for joining me.